All right, gang. So let's talk about the Yankees 40-man roster here. And let's take an honest look. Let's just be real. Honest assessment and who should be on it and who should be not be on it next year. I think this year is pretty much settled business already, or with the exception of maybe a move here and a move there, it's probably not going to change much. But moving into 2024, we need to take an honest look and see who could be on here. And let's go through every player on this list and let's talk about it, okay? And we'll continue to talk about this too. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you're a Yankee fan, and whether you're pissed off at the Yankees, whether you're encouraged by the Yankees, no matter what it is, I want to make sure that you get all the intel that you need. Okay, that's my vow to you, and I'll keep it coming. So just do that, and I'll take care of the rest. And I thank you for it. Now, Albert Abreu. We'll start the pitchers here. To me personally, he's one of the guys that would move off the roster now. He hasn't shown enough consistency, potentially big arm, but if we're going to protect people from the 40-man roster like a Clayton Beater, he's a guy I would not hesitate to move off the roster for him. So, to me, Albert Abreu should be gone. As Matt Bowman, again, he's a minor leaguer, but he's on the 40-man roster. What's the Yankees plan with him? What do we even know about him? Does he need to be on 40-man right now? Not that I know of. Okay. Johnny Brito, I'd keep on there. Okay. With next year, again, shuffling guys like Albert Abreu, you leave room. You can keep room here for Brito and some other folks. But again, if the Yankees happen to lose Herman, Severino, and somebody like Nestor Cortes, we're going to need guys like Johnny Brito here. So I keep him. Garrett Cole, he's staying. There's no way in the world I'm putting him on, getting him off there. Nestor Cortes, again, to me, he's 50-50 right now. He's got 2 more years left of arbitration before he's a free agent in 2026. So there's a chance he might be dealt. But we don't know yet. But him, somebody I'd move to long relief or something like that. Because he has not been able to show the ability to stay healthy this year, unfortunately. So maybe it's time to transition him to long relief if that's what we need to do. And if we keep him, that's what I would do with him. Okay, Scotty Frost is coming back from Tommy John. So he's the guy who's under control until 2028. I keep him. Luis Hill coming back from his Tommy John. Got a big arm. For now, I keep him. So we can have another power arm in the bullpen here, potentially in the rotation. But at the very least, at the bullpen transition back. So I keep Luis Hill. Yoendris Gomez, another minor leaguer, guy being protected from 40-man. He seems to be highly touted. So I make a decision on him and some of these other guys. Look, we're either going to give him a shot or we're going to get him off the 40-man. We can't get some other guys on the 40-man that we're going to use on a regular basis. Okay. Ian Hamilton, keep it. Keep it. His big power arm is under control till I think 2029. So he's got a lot of value here. I'm keeping Ian Hamilton. Clay Holmes, he's got 1 more year before he's a free agent. I look to complement him in the bullpen with another power arm. He has shown the ability to get some guys out, get some big outs. We can change some of those implosions that he has on occasion. But aside from that, he's been a credible reliever for the Yankees, so I'm keeping him. Same goes to Tommy Kahnle. He's got 1 more year. Again, he's seen it with a couple of implosions, especially poorly timed ones recently. Other than that, he's been pretty damn good for the Yankees, so I keep him on the 40-man. Okay. Matt Crooks, another guy in the crafty lefty. I keep him on the 40-man. He's a highly touted pitcher, and again, but he's one of these guys that we have to make a decision. We're either going to keep him on a 40-man and play him or trade him. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Okay? Jonathan Loaisiga, he's staying, keeping him. Ron Marinaccio, he's got a couple more years left as well. For team control, I'm keeping him too on the 40-man. He's been a valuable piece in our bullpen. Kanan Middleton, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, so he's on a 40-man now. I don't honestly see them re-upping with him, so I don't think he's going to be here next year. Anthony Misewich, again, another guy. Who is he? What's the plan with him? If we're not going to bring him up here, what are we doing? Why is he on the 40-man? Okay? There are guys that we need to protect from the Rule 5 or guys that are highly touted pitchers. We got Anthony Moore, we got Thorpe, we got freaking Clayton Beater. We need to get these guys up here instead of Misewich and some of these other guys that we never heard of, that they never use. So to me, these are easy swaps, in my opinion. Frankie Montes, I think he's gone. I don't think he's coming back. I think he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year anyway. He's had a setback in his rehab. I don't see him playing another game in a Yankee uniform. So another roster, 40-man roster spot freed up. Wandy Peralta, he's been a pretty durable and a pretty consistent part of the Yankees bullpen, but he's also had some issues too recently, particularly staying healthy. So I think he's going to sign with another team at free agency, so I don't see him back. Nick Ramirez, he's another guy like Ian Hamilton. He's got team control to like 2028 or 2029. He's a guy I consider keeping here because of the fact he has so many controllable years on the cheap. So he's a guy I keep, but if we don't, we move him and get somebody else, one of our highly touted pitchers, in his place. Okay, Carlos Rodon, he ain't going anywhere. He's staying. He's got 5 more years to his deal. And the fact is, his good games are really good, and his bad games are really bad. We need to cut back on the amount of really bad games that he has and get some more consistency out of him. I do think he's going to have a better year next year than this year, but we need him to be healthy, okay, and we need him to be consistent. But he's not going anywhere. Then we have Clark Schmidt. Stan, I think he's going to be a steadfast member in this starting rotation. He's earned that, and Garrett Cole's taken him under his wing too. So I think he's staying around. Luis Severino, I think he's going to be departing in free agency to another team, so I don't see him being on the 40-man. Who else we have? Lou Trevino, he's got 1 more year in the bullpen, coming back from Tommy John before he's a free agent in 2025. So they're probably going to keep him and try to get whatever they can get out of him. Okay. Who else we have here? Randy Vasquez. He's another guy just like Johnny Brito. Like, I've named a bunch of guys that don't need to be here on this 40-man roster. So I'm keeping a guy like Randy Vasquez, who's shown to be valuable, just like Johnny Brito, either in long relief or spot starter or something like that. I'm keeping Brito. I'm keeping Vasquez on the 40-man. Ryan Weber, another one. Where is he? What are we doing with him? What's the point of him being on 40-man if he's not going to be up here helping the team out, right? As much as we like to protect it, we have other guys that we more highly touted prospects that we need to protect from the Rule 5 draft. So this is why I move guys like Ryan Weber and bring guys back on here. We'll put guys on here like again, Will Warren, Clayton Beater, Drew Thorpe. Guys like that need to be on the 40-man in place of some of these guys. So I appreciate what Weber's done, but this is an easy decision in my opinion. Greg Weissert, he's a guy, again, I would keep here up here. He's got several controllable years as another cheap, reliable piece in the bullpen. Hopefully the Yankees invest in a power arm like a Josh Hader or somebody like that, or trade for a big arm in the bullpen. But the fact is, they need another guy that's dependable in the late innings that can serve as a consistent closer and complement the same guys like Loizaga, complement if Loizaga's not going to get a shot at being closer, complement Clay Holmes, complement all these other guys, right? Tommy Kahnle. So I think there's going to be some bullpen turnover. Some work being done in my house. That's why there's noise. I think there's going to be some bullpen turnover this offseason, and rightfully so. There should be. All right, now catching Kyle Gashioka. He's got 1 more year before he's a free agent. He's also taken new Yankee Austin Wells under his wing. So I think the Yankees are probably going to keep him around unless they trade him to keep mentoring guys like Austin Wells. He's a solid veteran. He's a classy guy, team player. So, do I think, would I be upset if the Yankees kept him? Not even in the slightest. I like Kyle Gashioka, so he's a guy I would keep around. And Rortvedt's another guy I would keep around. In a trade, he's got the ability to be an expert game caller, and he hits from the left-handed side. We got to increase his bat production, right? But he's connecting with a lot of the pitchers, connecting with Garrett Cole. He knows how to call a game and call pitches, frame pitches. So I'm keeping him in Higashioka, and I'm also keeping Austin Wells around, which means Jose Trevino, in my opinion, becomes expendable. So he's a guy I would look as a potential trade option, try to get some value back for him, He's of the three. Jose Trevino, he's got a very light bat. He's a guy that doesn't need to be here. As much as I like him, doesn't need to be here next year. So he's a guy that's expendable, in my opinion, and has a little bit of trade value. So I would move him. So DJ LeMahieu is the next guy. He's got 3 more years left on his contract as a super utility. I don't think he's going anywhere. But the fact is, with the Yankees youth movement, they cannot wager their potential success or failure on DJ, Stanton, and Rizzo, and older veterans. They can't do it. They need a combination of younger veterans, versatile athletic veterans, as well as their young kids. But DJ, I don't think is going anywhere, so he's going to stay around. Oswald Peraza, another one, part of the youth movement. He's a guy we keep around, expert defender. Unless they trade him for a top flight pitcher, he's one again. We don't see Josh Donaldson coming back, obviously, and I don't think they should go after Matt Chapman. So Oswald Peraza is a guy that fits well, in my opinion, for third base and any infield position, to be honest. So I'm keeping him around. Anthony Rizzo, again, he's got 1 more year left, so maybe they'll look to trade him this offseason. I don't know, but if Rizzo stays, he stays. Good veteran presence, he's a leader. He's a good clubhouse guy, good character guy. So if he stayed, I would just want a credible backup in his stead, like DJ being a utility guy, or somebody like Andres Chaparro if they give him an opportunity, or if not him, Tyler Hardman, one of these guys that are hitting really well in the farm. That I think could translate well up to the major leagues. Okay, but at the end of I think Anthony Rizzo, they need to keep in mind for Anthony Rizzo's replacement for 2025. His consistent replacement. Whether they translate a guy or convert a guy like Austin Wells to first base and go with one of their other younger catchers, because they do have a deep catching pipeline, or something else, they need to already be prepping and thinking about Rizzo's potential replacement in 2024, after 2024. Okay, Gleyber Torres, we've said this repeatedly. He's got trade value. Fire truck now, of course. Hang on. Obnoxious. Hopefully there's not a fire. Gleyber Torres, another one. He's got trade value. He's been one of their more consistent hitters, but we're not replacing 40 home runs and 35 home runs. We're not replacing that. We're replacing 20 home runs. Decent production. We can get that from one of our other kids. So he's a guy I would look to move this offseason, potentially for pitching. But if he stays, he stays. No, I'm fine with that if he stays. No. And lastly, Anthony Volpe. He's our starting shortstop of the future. He's not going anywhere. He's shown that he deserves to be here. Okay? Volpe's not going anywhere. Now, let's pivot to the outfield. Jake Bauers doesn't need to be here. I like him, but doesn't need to be here. It's a guy you can clear on the 40. We can probably have 8 or 10 guys that don't need to be on the 40-man right now that we could replace with some of our other highly touted prospects or some affordable free agents. That needs to be considered by the Yankees. Jake Bauers is one of them, okay? Oswaldo Cabrera, I can see him staying around as a versatile outfield and infield utility type guy and to complement DJ if they don't bring back IKF. So, Oswaldo Cabrera, unless he becomes part of a trade, I can see him sticking around, okay? Franchi Cordero doesn't need to be here on the 40-man. I thank him just like I thank Bauers, but doesn't need to be here on the 40-man next year. Jason Dominguez, I think he's going to be our, probably our starting center fielder in the future. So he's not going anywhere. Austin, pull up my sunglasses here. Aaron Judge, our star player. He's not going anywhere. He needs to stay here. IKF, up in the air. I'm 50-50 on him. I like him, but will they trade him? Because they have Oswaldo Cabrera. They have DJ LeMahieu as for other versatile utility guys. And Oswaldo Cabrera showed the ability, and as a younger version of IKF, to play the infield and the outfield. But if IKF stays, he's a gamer. He's responded well to Sean Casey, the new hitting coach. And they could probably keep bringing him back on a 1 or 2 year deal on an affordable rate. So would I be upset if they brought him back? No, I would not. Billy McKinney doesn't need to be here. I say goodbye to him too. And Everson Pereira, I think he's got a shot at being, potentially either starting left fielder or a fourth outfielder, depending on what the Yankees decide to do this offseason. If they bring up any major league free agent, then Pereira, I think, can stay around and probably should get an opportunity to stay around as our fourth outfielder. Okay, they're not going to bring up somebody like Estevan Florial, then give him another opportunity. He's out of options. Trade the guy, get some value back. Okay, he's hitting, but you're not using him. So what the hell are you doing? Okay, and lastly, Giancarlo Stanton, just like Anthony Rizzo, an aging free agent, he has a lot of injury problems. Maybe they'll try to find a trade for him this offseason, just like they would Rizzo. We'll see. But, Rizzo, Stanton's going to be harder to trade. I think some of it hinges upon whether certain teams on the West Coast sign Shohei Ohtani or not. Because Stanton can be a credible DH replacement. It also frees up the DH spot for guys like Aaron Judge and DJ and some other folks. And maybe they can bring up somebody like a Spencer Jones or whoever else as another young outfielder who can play positions and hit the ball. So that's the 40-man. I think there's about 8 or 10 guys that they could remove and replace him on this 40-man. You let me know what you think. Give me your honest opinion on who and what would you do. So I appreciate you in here taking the time to watch this. And but again, load up the comments. Give me your feedback. Your opinions matter. They always matter. So let's get into it.